next course.
Okay, I got it. So,
Yeah, we got recording in progress.
okay, let me kill this and hi, everybody. This is Tom Fry, and this is the regular Wednesday meeting of Cardano for Seniors. And we're recording this so we can put it out to you. So the agenda today is basically talking about Teresa's research, part of what we were funded for, and the Eli 65 language. And I'm getting the feedback. Is anybody else getting that?
Yeah, we listen. We can hear it.
No, I'm just getting a little audio feedback. So. Is that a little better?
No.
Is that better?
Nope.
Okay, I don't know. Technology and seniors.
Is everybody muted?
I'm not muted. Maybe that'll help. Is that any better?
Yeah.
Okay, that was me. I have two systems open. So anyway, welcome. Today we have with us Tom Fry, me, apparently I'm the host on Zoom. According to my screen that I'm looking at, we have Bob, who is from Florida. We have Marco, who is from Vermont. We have Gustavo Odeber, is from Aruba, Virginia Beach, and Plattsburgh, New York. And we have Teresa joining us from New Hampshire. We're a very small team, fairly new to the ecosystem and slowly growing. As we've reported in previous meetings or previous meeting, we did get funded in Fund 8 by Cardano to build a community platform about educating seniors on cryptocurrency, DeFi, and risk management. A big part of that was to establish a learning platform, research how seniors learn, because there are studies that show they learn differently as they age. And Bob, it starts around age 55 or 57, I think. So you're right in the cusp of that. I'm 60. Yeah. I'm 67. I'm over it. I'm over it. But Teresa T. Colomey has been doing some research, taking some courses on different learning platforms for seniors. And we have begun writing the Eli 65 senior educational tool. So that's the big agenda item for today. Teresa, would you like to explain a little bit and go over what you've been doing?
So I've been taking instructional design courses that focus on the way that adults learn. There's a whole many different modules based basically upon the ADDIE design. And the one that I think we landed on was backwards design, or understanding by design, which is to state the problem first and then to flesh out the explanations from there. So I did a whole write-up, and that's in the Google Docs. So it's basically, we're going to take the designs, well, if everybody reads it and we have a discussion about it, and try to make little nano learning modules.
Okay. Could you just explain for me and everybody else what ADDIE, you said the ADDIE model?
Yeah, hold on.
What ADDIE stands for, and
Yep.
And talk about the backward model a little bit.
My meatballs are done, so I might have to go do that. It's too bad that there's not another grown adult sitting right over there that could.
Well, I wasn't sure what I was hearing.
I guess Nate's in the room with Teresa. That's
Sorry,
her
that's on
spouse. Not a
being
problem.
recorded.
Yeah, that's for the whole world not to know. Your marital discord over meatballs.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, I'm looking, I don't have the documents. Maybe I do there. Okay. I used to be, or I am an Apple person many years ago, a Microsoft person. My Apple laptop fell off my back bumper and I lost it. And I've been working on a Microsoft and I'm trying to relearn.
So ADDIE is an instructional systems design framework that many instructional designers and training developers use to develop courses. The acronym is for Analysis, Design, Development, Implementation, and Evaluation. It was basically started by the US Navy, I think. It was developed by Florida State University, and it was for job training.
Okay, let me just interrupt you. Can everybody see my screen now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Go ahead, Trace. Now the ADDIE, was that the, remember the gentleman I introduced you to who was doing the SEALs training, special training?
I did.
He was talking about how they were training the SEALs so they could operate under pressure.
That wasn't me.
That wasn't you, okay. Okay,
So in the analysis phase, you decide who are the learners and what are their characteristics. What is the desired new behavior? What types of learning problems exist? How are we going to deliver it? And then we go into what part of the adult learning theory considerations apply to our model.
okay. Someone has a radio on in the background. If you could mute, that would be nice.
That would be us.
Okay, is this David Kolb's work that you're talking about, or is this someone else's?
No, the adult learning is Malcolm Knowles.
Okay, Malcolm Knowles is here.
Yes, Malcolm Knowles is there.
Okay. So why don't you tell us about his studies? Or if I'm taking you out of order, just present as you have it.
So Knowles' learning theory refers to 5 assumptions. One is self-concept. As a person matures, his self-concept moves away from one of being a dependent personality, like children when they learn they're dependent to being taught, to one of being a self-directed human being. And the experience, as a person matures, he accumulates a growing reservoir of experience that becomes an increasing resource for learning. So when we have all this experience in life, so we're going to take what we know and then apply it to the new concept. And everybody is going to come from from applying to a new concept at a different angle because it's from their point of view.
Okay.
And as a person matures, his readiness to learn becomes oriented increasingly to the developmental tasks of his social role. And the orientation to learning as a person matures, his time perspective changes from one of postponed application of knowledge to the immediacy of application. And so learning shifts from subject-centered to problem-centered. And basically that's there's not a lot of time to be spent on reading volumes of books and everything. If we have a problem, we want it fixed in a short amount of time from our point of view and from what we already know, but we need the new concept to adapt to our mind.
Okay. And then you had Knowles. I don't know if you discussed that. I might have his 4 principles for adult learning.
The adults need to be involved in the planning and evaluation of their instruction. Experience, including mistakes, provides the basis for learning activities. And adults are most interested in learning subjects that have immediate relevance to their job or personal life. And adult learning is problem-centered rather than content-oriented. And that's where how Malcolm Knowles came up with the part of teaching adults versus kids, because kids just are sponges that learn stuff and they have very limited experience. So coming in through the adult learning systems, the system has to sort of reflect people's experiences and concepts and ideology too. So it's like a multifaceted learning system, and you just have to figure out where the person's going to jump in from, meaning that they're not going to start with the ABCD. They're going to start with what part of the wheel they're on and what part of the wheel that they want to jump in on.
Okay. And that's the part of the experiential learning, which again repeats experience, I think, a couple times. I noticed.
Yeah, you experience it, you reflect, you think about it, and then you act. And it goes through cycles until the concept is learned. And you go through the experience, reflect, think, and act multiple times.
Now, let me ask you a question, and you may not know, and you don't have to go look for it. It looks like, when was Kolb's theories put out? When was his hypothesis, so to speak, floated, and when was Knowles?
Knowles was 1984. And
Okay. Okay, I just thought maybe you remembered, what decade or about when, whose study came first.
I think Kolb's definitely came first.
Okay, so then from Coles and Knowles, or Kolb and Knowles, we go to understanding by design, I think it is, or the backward design model.
Well, it's understanding by design. And Kolb's work based a little bit on Piaget's learning styles too, the philosopher. And he was in the 1970s.
In the 70s, okay. So this is all fairly, I mean, that's not modern, it's 50 years old, but it's all fairly recent studies on adult learning.
So instructors typically approach course design in a forward design, meaning they consider what the learning activities, how to teach the content, and they develop assessments around the learning activities, then attempt to draw connections to the learning goals of the course. Backwards design approach has instructors considering the learning goals of the course first. The learning goals embody the knowledge and skills instructors want their students to have learned when they leave. And once the learning goals have been established, the second stage involves consideration of assessment. So the backwards design framework suggests that instructors should consider the overarching learning goals and how students will be assessed prior to consideration of how to teach the content.
Okay.
So
now, is just to interrupt a little bit, isn't that similar to the ancient Chinese philosophy of plan the journey of 10,000 steps with the last step in mind?
It sounds sort of like it.
I think that's, or then again, the frontward design, I guess, would be, the journey of 10,000 steps begins with the first one.
Yeah,
So two different yin yang of the design approach.
Well, children need to do the frontwards design. They need to be taught all the little tiny pieces and the concepts to go forward.
And you're saying adults don't?
No, because they already have life experiences.
Okay. You see, when
And-
you first explained that, I didn't catch that nuance.
And so they are going to come to a problem with what they already have in their mind, or whatever they have in their back pocket.
Okay. And then you had another one was nano learning.
Well, that is like a sub lesson of micro learning, which was it was sort of coined in the 80s and 90s of small learning segments. That was the 3 to 5 minute thing. And in today's world of TikTok and small Google Reels and stuff, nano learning is probably going to be the way more things will be going. So you have to do a really concise lesson in a very short time.
Okay.
And I'm still sort of working a little bit on the nano learning, like the exact gritty details.
Right. And what was the CRA model?
Yeah, I took that out because that was first, it's sort of like first you have a concrete thing that you can hold in your hand, and then you do a representational model and then an abstract model. Like I was thinking, because sort of, I mean, a lot of crypto talk is very abstract, but based on a real life thing.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So have you gone any further then? Because I made some notes in here. I think it's shared out to a couple of others. I'm not sure. So I got Teresa. Okay. So I will share this with the rest of the team at a different time. And we can all start coming into, do you all have Google Tools or Google Docs set up on your machines?
Yes.
It's in Slack, so you should be able to do it. So
Yes.
I will share it out. If it's not, I thought it was shared out to Slacks, but if we could come in here and start reading T's notes, and I've put in my own notes here, and then we've started crafting, and this is part of the proposal, is we're calling it, they didn't like, no one liked my suggestion to call it gray hair
LET, no,
geriatric.
SCT.
What? SET? I'm sorry, Teresa. Hello? So anyway, we started now crafting our own theorem or hypothesis on senior learning, and it's going to be called Eli 65, which is what the proposal was based about, senior educational tool. The Eli 65 is a complete rip-off of the Eli 5 language, which is familiar to most Reddit readers in the different forums on crypto, meaning explain it like I'm 5. So if you go in and you don't know something in Reddit, you just ask for an Eli 5 on that. So we've borrowed and repurposed the term to Eli 65 because seniors learn differently. We can't, not we all, and I don't mean to broad brush it, but many people don't or did not grow up with the languages and acronyms that, the different demographics have. We don't know what Reddit is. We don't know necessarily how to use Twitter or Twitter Spaces. Discord seems to bother a lot of seniors because of how difficult it is to try to navigate around it. So the Eli 65 is going to condense T's research into a hypothesis, and so we've started developing it, and this is open for everybody to jump in and edit it once we give out permissions, and we would appreciate if you would, and continue writing it off of her research. And then we have another document which will be folded into this, which I've also opened up for everybody, and that's the actual Eli 65 terminology. I think we have 50 or 60 terms in there currently. And that's things like what's a bag, what's a hodl, what does cryptocurrency mean, what does DeFi mean? So there's all these terms that we want to have and eventually put into a UIX or whatever you call it, an interface, a DApp, where seniors could go in and just search on it, and it would give a full explanation in the Eli 65 language, possibly with stories along with it and real life examples. Also, we'll get into, how do you use some of the social media tools. And as we go through Fund 9, hopefully some of our projects get funded to expand on this platform. We will develop other user-friendly for the global seniors of the world. So that's it. Teresa, do you have anything else on your research or what you've caught up, or that other class you were talking about yet? Is Teresa there? Okay, I guess not. Anybody have any questions on what's going on?
Yes, I do, Tom. Can you listen to me?
Yeah, I hear you, Gustavo.
Oh, okay. Basically, what Teresa's saying is that we have so much experience that we have to put the phrases in nano. In other words, very short and focused, for the seniors to actually elaborate on it. Is that correct or no?
Yeah, part of, and that's why
All right, this is freezing on me a lot.
was you having bandwidth.
Yeah.
When Teresa and I were talking about, and we're starting to get ready once the assessments are done, which is the 14th. I want to start working on the YouTube vids that we are funded to do. And that's why this research is so important and why we're trying to bring it along timely. But one of the big things that Teresa came out with, and T, jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're hearing or if your bandwidth is allowing you to communicate with us.
Yeah, I'm here.
Seniors, and maybe everybody, I don't watch a lot of YouTube, but seniors and Gus and that nano learning system, they want 1 to 2 minute video explanations of things. They don't want, like, the length of this recording is going to boggle most of seniors, maybe. But for when we do our YouTubes, Teresa's recommending is that we keep them to like under 5 minutes, probably no more than 2. Is that about right, T?
Yeah, I mean, so that's why the material has to be really simple and engaging, and all, what was that bottom line first? The first line should be pretty much basically what solves the problem.
Okay.
BLUF. Oh yeah, bottom line up front.
Oh, is that what that was about? You didn't explain that. I saw that somewhere, but there was no explanation. Gustavo, does that answer your question about the nano learning? Or the
Well, basically, yeah, in a way, what I'm trying to say is that we have such a vast experience of our life, that we went through and what we've read and what we experienced, that we need to actually get the pieces in nano phrases, in small phrases, but focused on, you know, that particular material. Is that
Yeah.
what we're talking about?
Yeah, because, you know, you and I experience life in different ways.
Right,
So we're going to come at the problem in different ways.
right, of course. Uh-huh.
And so, I mean, like the design part is not, this is just the thinking about it, the concepts of it. But how do people, you know, that's why that picture is a wheel. Because, you know, you step in at any time. From what part of the wheel do you step in? And that just depends on the person you are.
Right, okay, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Okay, Kev, I see you joined us. Welcome.
Yes, I did. I had a meeting with Shift Markets. I had a meeting with Backcore from WADA, and it ran over a little bit, but I think I got some really good information. First off, I just want to welcome Bob Vogel to the group.
Thank you much. What was that? You broke up on me.
I just wanted to say I wanted to welcome Bob Vogel to the group. He comes joining us with 30 plus years of IT experience. He's learning about smart contracts, and I have a feeling he has a much further wealth of information. So
I hope.
I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. And I don't know if you did introductions at the beginning, but if there's anything you'd like to add to that.
Well, thanks for the invite, and I'm finding this quite fascinating because I can see myself being reflected in many of the comments about how seniors want to learn, and so it's very interesting to me. So thank you.
Okay. My meeting with Shift Markets, who was kind enough to sign.
Did you disappeared, Kevin? Okay. Teresa, before he jumps in, are you still there? I don't know if there's anything else
No, I don't. I'm at this point, no. I'm, like I said, I'm still, I mean, the course that I took, it went through, it has like 15 different modules of how different people learn. And those are the ones that I thought that would be the best.
Okay, good.
And then if the modules turn into bigger learning courses of some kind, then we can visit a different learning style for longer learning. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Anybody have questions for T before Kevin jumps back on? Because he's going to probably want to tell us about his meetings. Gus, you have anything else for T, or did she answer your question? Bob, Marco?
oh yeah,
Hey,
that's fine.
sorry.
Oh, well.
Okay.
All is good. I've got a question. We're still recording, correct?
We are still recording, Marco.
No, just the learning. You know what? It's okay. Strike that. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Well, then I'll jump in and apologize. Even though I have two phones, it appears I'm using both of them enough that one just died on me. So again, apologies. I should have charged it before the meeting.
Well, if you've been on meetings with people all day, it's understandable. So I sat in on part of, we're recording this, Kev, so.
I just realized that.
Yeah, so I don't know that we want to get into too much of that until we go. But let me go to the agenda. So we're finished pretty much with the Eli 65 senior educational tool. I don't think there were any more questions for Teresa. I have on the agenda, I wanted to go over the proposals for Fund 9. And if anybody's doing assessments, I'm doing about 3 assessments a day I'm working on. There is an assessment if you're signed up for PA. I took over for the team that was doing it as the miscellaneous challenge for Fund 10. The reason we believe that in Cardano, there needs to be an outlet for the, we call it the round peg in the square hole. And, you know, for the outlier type of proposal that someone has this weird concept that may turn out to be great. So we would like to see if miscellaneous could not get voted back in. It was in Fund 8. It got voted out in Fund 9. We're trying to bring it in Fund 10. So if you guys, since you're not attached to that, if you can go in and do an assessment on the miscellaneous fund in Fund 10, hopefully you find it nice. I would appreciate it. Cardano for Seniors has 6 different proposals in. Most of them are in the DApps category. We have the Cardano for Senior Hubs. We have, let me just look it up so I get it straight for you. And if you guys voting and or if you're doing assessments, if you're on the team, you cannot do an assessment on it. That is not within the code of ethics. So Cardano for Senior Hubs is kind of an extension on the Fund 8 proposal. It's for continuing this work and creating a place for seniors to talk and be educated. There is the Cardano, educating Cardano seniors as D-reps. If you're into the system for a little bit, Cardano, you understand there's a movement for liquid democracy to go to a elected, what they call designated rep to do the voting, because there's less than 20% of participation in the voting. So we think that seniors would make, with life experiences, I mean, how many engineers and teachers and doctors and professionals, their brains are not being used, and they could be educated to be D-reps and vote on Cardano. So we have that proposal. Direct continuation for this, the funding from Fund 8, is to take what T is doing in research, our FAQ language, and do an animation proposal. So that's one of the things we have in. We also have outreach, which is a Fund 10, and that's asking for a challenge category for $225,000, so we can have other projects come in and propose in Fund 10 for senior-related educational DApps and things like that. Then we have the Cardano for Senior stake pool operations. That's to help us gain a little independence in the community from funding. So if we can get jump started on our stake pool operation, it leads us into the tokenomics, doing an ISPO so we can raise funds and become an independently funded operation, a community platform within Cardano. And then the last one is kind of similar to the outreach, but it's a C4S incubator. It's kind of like a quarterback safety valve play. If we don't get funded in F10, we're looking to do something like what Carter Shift did and have our own incubation fund within Cardano for senior projects. So those are all the proposals that we have in. So if you're doing assessments, please assess us, read us. If there's something that you see that we can add, I can always add it in on comments and keep it current for the voters.
It's important.
It's important. It's very important. All the kudos and positives, and even look in Cardano forum. I put topics in there every once in a while to discuss. So if you could respond to that, create a dialogue, create conversation, it helps with the publicity. If you see tweets out there and you see things in Telegram, shout out and say, hey, yeah, it all helps the movement. I would like to not end this at just the one funding and keep it moving. And
No. The other thing I was gonna say is I've been reaching out, trying to gather some support. I've been asked, because obviously not everybody's gonna be able to vote for every proposal for us. So which ones are more likely to get funded and have support?
well, the hubs and the animation should have more support because that's more of a continuation of Fund 8.
Okay, so that's where I should say, I think those are for a little bit less money though, right?
Well, one's 50,000 and one is
Oh, okay.
like 9,000 or 10,000.
All right, so I'll mention those.
Yeah, the hub is 50 and the animation I think is 12, or I forget the exact number.
Right. You know who asked me, he's returning a favor and he wants to hopefully keep working together.
Okay, that would be nice. But we are still recording. And I'm gonna end that in a minute. Anybody else have anything? The other was other business, which Kevin's talking about, but last time it took me an hour to upload the recording, so I'm trying to keep this a little shorter. Any other things we want to say on tape? Anybody? No? Otherwise, I'm going to end the official recording. This was Cardano for Seniors. It's July 6, 2022.
Oh, I'm frozen again. Otherwise. I
Yeah, you might
started
want to
the
edit out what
UX
I
course
just said.
today.
I don't want to turn this into a political thing.
Okay, I'm going to end recording.